Welcome to Therapy for Nerds, the show where licensed mental health professionals use their favorite topics like TV, books, games, and movies to provide psychoeducation on mental health. Please note, this is not meant to be a replacement for mental health treatment or services.
I don't think I can say it enough, so I'm just gonna say it here and now. I adore The Dragon Prince. I was hesitant towards it at first because of the animation, especially in the first season. It's not the best, but the budget definitely goes up as time goes on. As a fan of Avatar The Last Airbender, I knew I had to give Dragon Prince a chance. What drew me to the show was the characters, and that continues to be the case. I love how the show showcases so many different kinds of families. The main family is even a blended family, with Callum being raised by a man that is not his father. Though Callum is Ezrin's half brother, they don't focus on that in the show. They could have made Callum super angsty about his real dad, but instead, Callum loves his adoptive father, and the show focuses on how loving that relationship can be, and how loving his relationship with his half brother is. It's really no different than if Ezrin was his full brother, but that really shouldn't matter. It also shows how troubling family relationships can be. A clear example of that being the gaslighting father, Lord Viren. Spoilers ahead. In the first season, I did not care for Soren. I found him insufferable, to be honest, and I didn't understand why the writers spent so much time with him. It seemed like a lot if he was going to be the villain. Granted, after the Zuko redemption arc, I really should have realized what they were doing. Soren starts the show as a jerk. He is good at his job, but he also seems to like to tease Callum a little too much. Then he is told by his father, Lord Viren, to kill Ezrin. Soren seems conflicted by this order, but since his father gave it to him, he still attempts to follow through. Soren fails in his mission. When Soren becomes paralyzed from the neck down, he accepts his fate. He even tells his sister Claudia that he is relieved. Now he won't have to follow through with his father's order, and he won't have to feel guilty about it at all. Claudia is confused by this. She wasn't given the same order, and she doesn't like the thought that her father would be capable of giving such an order. To her, family is everything. She is fighting to keep the family she has left after her parents' nasty sounding divorce. Apparently, in the divorce, they were given a choice to stay with their father or their mother, which is never a good idea. Parents, never put your child in charge of that kind of a decision. Come up with a schedule on how custody will work before to help lessen the stress on everyone involved. As such, Claudia goes to great lengths to save Soren, using magic that is most likely drained some of her life force, as signified by her hair turning white. The next time they talk to their father, Claudia asks him about the order he gave to Soren. Lord Viren, knowing he would lose his daughter's trust and subsequent aid, lied to her. He tells both of them that it was a mistake. Soren must have heard wrong. And Soren is confused by this. He tries to tell his side, but he gets brushed off by Viren. And Claudia is so relieved that her father isn't a child murderer that she brushes it off as well. One of the major issues when a person is gaslit is how they can even question their own reality. We see this in Soren. He is so confused by Viren's reaction and even questions himself, like he possibly could have heard incorrectly, even though that's not how it was. The whole situation leaves Soren feeling that Lord Viren isn't what he says he is, which is why Soren ends up leaving Viren's army. It can be frustrating to see Claudia stay even when it seems so obvious to the viewer that her father is a bad guy. But there are two things working against her: Lord Viren's lies and her desperation to keep her family together. In her eyes, Soren left. He left her and her father just like their mother did. Soren gave her the choice to leave, but the situation mirrored her family's divorce too closely, and she just felt like Soren was giving up on their family. In the latest season, we see Claudia and Lord Viren after a time jump and some necromancy. She's in too deep now. Soren tries to reach out to speak some sense into Claudia, but she has gone too far to hear that her efforts are evil. She's doing what she's been led to believe she has to. After being primed her whole life to believe what her father says, she more easily believes what Arvaros tells her. Lord Viren seems hesitant at times, but he's easily convinced to go along with everything, mostly due to his giant ego and thirst for power. If a person hears a message often enough, they are more likely to believe it is true. When building your supports, remember to find people with messages that make you feel good and don't turn you into a cruel murderer. It's a good way to judge social supports. Who is your favorite character in The Dragon Prince? Do you think the father and or daughter will get any sort of redemption? Let me know. Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please comment, like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. Remember to be kind to yourselves this week.